Get out of my building! It's wonderful to finally have everyone together tonight. To health and happiness.
And that is why this partnership is crucial for maximizing our reach in the European market.
This is a critical juncture for the team. We must execute flawlessly on the integration plan by the deadline.
It was the end of 3 years of careful dismissal, choreographed humiliation, and a family that mistook quiet for weakness. My name is Maya Chin. I'm 34, and for most of my adult life I've been the disappointment. My brother Derek is 38, 4 years older, 4 years more successful, according to my parents. 4 extra years of being the benchmark I was supposed to live up to. Derek graduated from Stanford with a business degree. I went to a state school and studied computer science. Derek landed a corporate job at a Fortune 500 right out of college, $120,000 salary, benefits, bragging rights. I freelance from coffee shops and parking spaces, scraping together maybe $30,000 that first year. By 26, Derek bought a house. I lived with roommates until I was 29. Every family dinner was a comparison chart. Every holiday was a performance review where my score hovered just above failing. Derek closed a $2 million deal this quarter, Dad would announce, lifting his wine glass. That's wonderful, I'd say. What are you working on, Maya? Mom would ask, voice already laced with disappointment. Some contract work, web development. Database optimization, still freelancing, she'd say it like a diagnosis. Derek would lean back, relaxed. Not overtly gloating, just settled into his role as the golden child, the one who made them proud. I learned to lower my eyes, minimize my answers, and let them believe whatever they wanted. What they didn't know was that in 2016, when I was 26, I started building something. Nothing loud, nothing flashy, just valuable. I was contracting for a fintech startup that needed secure database architecture for financial transactions. I charged $85 an hour. They gladly paid it. In 2017, that startup sold for $340 million. My equity, $2.8 million. I didn't tell anyone, not my parents, not Derek, not the friends who still thought I was a broke freelancer. I took the $2.8 million and did what I do best, I built. I launched a specialized consulting firm focused on database security and optimization for financial institutions, banks, investment firms. Companies that moved billions and needed bulletproof infrastructure. By 2018, we had 12 employees and $4.2 million in annual revenue. By 2019, 30 employees and $11.8 million. That same year, I bought a building in downtown Seattle, 6 stories, mixed use. Ground floor retail, offices on floors 2 through 6. Purchase price, $14.2 million. I bought it through an LLC, Chin Property Holdings. Tenants saw a faceless corporate entity on their paperwork, not my name. Derek's company, Apex Marketing Solutions, leased the entire 4th floor, 4,200 square feet, $8,400 a month. He moved his growing agency there in late 2019, 6 months after I closed on the property. He had no idea he was paying me rent. At family dinners, nothing changed. Apex just landed Boeing, Dad crowed in early 2020, $50,000 monthly retainer. That's impressive, I said. What about you, Maya, still doing the computer thing? Mom asked. Still consulting. It's going well. Well, we can't all be entrepreneurs like Derek, she said, patting my hand. There's nothing wrong with hourly work. I hadn't billed by the hour in 4 years. But I smiled and nodded. Derek bought a Tesla. Dad posted photos on Facebook, proud of my son's success. I drove a 2014 Honda Civic. For Mom and Dad's 40th anniversary, Derek flew them to Hawaii. First-class tickets, ocean view suite, daily Instagram posts. I mailed a card and a $200 gift certificate to their favorite restaurant. It's the thought that counts, Mom said when she called. Then softer, Derek's gift was so generous, he's doing so well. I know, I thought, I see his rent checks clear every month. By 2021, Apex was growing fast. The 4th floor felt tight. The building owner is letting us expand to part of the 3rd floor, Derek announced at Sunday dinner. Another 1,200 square feet. My business is scaling fast. That's great, I said. You should see the office, Maya. Really impressive setup. Conference rooms, standing desks. We're building something special. He didn't mention that the expansion came with a $3,000 rent increase, or that I'd personally reviewed his financials before approving it through the management company. Why don't you come by, Derek added. I can show you how a real business operates. Maybe you'll pick up some ideas for your consulting thing. Maybe, I said. I'd already been to the building dozens of times. I visit every property I own at least once a month, but I go in through the garage, meet the property manager in a ground floor retail space, and avoid tenant floors unless necessary. I never went to the fourth floor. By early 2022, my portfolio had grown. 3 more commercial buildings in Seattle, 2 in Portland, 1 in San Francisco. Total value, $67 million. My consulting firm had 55 employees. Annual revenue, $18.4 million. My personal net worth, $34 million. My family still thought I was freelancing. In March 2023, Derek called me. That alone was unusual. We normally only saw each other at mom and dad's. Hey Maya, I need a favor. What's up? I need office space, temporary, maybe 2 weeks. We're doing a major build-out on the 3rd floor and the construction noise is unbearable. I need somewhere quiet to meet clients. Okay, I said, you work from home, right? You still have that 1 bedroom in Capitol Hill. I actually owned a 3-bedroom penthouse in Madison Park worth $2.7 million. Derek still pictured me in the same cramped apartment I'd rented in my 20s. I do have space, I said carefully. Perfect. Can I use your living room? I'll bring my laptop, take a few calls. I'll be quiet, you won't even know I'm there. Something in his tone, casual, entitled, like my home, my time, and my work were naturally available to support his schedule. Let me think about it, I said. Think about it. Come on, Maya, it's 2 weeks. You're not doing anything important. I let that hang for a second. I'll get back to you, I said. I didn't. He went to Mom. Maya's being difficult about letting me work from her place, he told her. I don't know why she's so selfish. Mom called. Derek needs your help, she said. Why are you making this hard? I have work to do, I said. My apartment isn't a co-working space. You're on your computer all day anyway. What difference does it make if Derek is there too? I said no. That's when the resentment started to surface. At family dinners, Derek started in with the comments, some people help family. Others only think about themselves. Must be nice to have so much free time you can't spare 2 weeks, I guess when you're not building anything real. You get protective of your space. I didn't respond. I finished my food, smiled politely, and left early. By June 2023, Derek was on a high. Apex had signed 3 major clients. He'd hired 12 more employees and needed more space again. I'm taking the entire 3rd floor now, he said at Sunday dinner. The building owner approved it. Apex Marketing Solutions is officially one of the top agencies in Seattle. Total rent for his expanded space, $14,600 a month. That's a significant expense, Dad said, clearly impressed. We're at $3.2 million in annual revenue now, Derek said. We can handle it. This is what scaling looks like. He looked straight at me. You should really come see the office, Maya. Might inspire you to think bigger with your little consulting thing. I'm good, I said. Come on, seriously, your family. I want you to see what I've built. I believe you. You know what your problem is? Derek leaned forward. You're scared to think big. You're comfortable being small. That's why you'll never build anything that matters. Derek, Mom murmured, touching his arm. No, she needs to hear this. I've watched her coast for years, freelancing, taking the easy path. No ambition, no vision. He turned back to me. When are you going to stop playing it safe and actually build something real? I took a sip of water. I'm working on it. For how many years now? He scoffed. Come by the office. Maybe it'll motivate you. Maybe, I said. I didn't go. On September 14, 2023, I had a meeting scheduled at the building, a potential tenant for a ground floor retail space, a coffee shop chain looking to expand. The meeting was at 2:00 p.m. In the property manager's office, I parked in my assigned space in the garage at 145, reserved owner parking unmarked, just a spot number. I took the elevator to the lobby. The property manager, Kenji Watanabe, met me. Ms. Chin, the client is running about 10 minutes late, he said. Would you like to wait in my office or grab coffee? I'll walk around. Check on the 3rd floor build-out. Of course. Instead, I rode the elevator to the 4th floor, Derek's floor. I wanted to see firsthand the space he was so proud of, the space in my building. The doors opened onto a polished agency setup. Glass-walled conference rooms, modern furniture, standing desks, motivational quotes about disruption and innovation on the walls. I had to admit it looked good. I walked past the reception desk. The receptionist on a call caught my eye and gave me a friendly wave, assuming I belonged there. I drifted down the hallway toward the conference rooms. That's when I heard Derek's voice. "This building is perfect for us," he was saying. "I'm thinking about expanding to the 5th floor next year. Really establish Apex as the dominant presence here." I stopped just outside the glass wall of a conference room. Derek stood with 3 people, prospective clients, judging by the way he gestured grandly at the space. "You own the building?" one of them asked. Derek laughed. "I don't own it, but I've been here so long I basically run the place," he said. "The owner is some investment company that doesn't care as long as the rent checks clear. I've got complete autonomy." I stepped to the side, out of view. "That's the advantage of these corporate-owned buildings," Derek continued. "No individual owner breathing down your neck. Just anonymous entities cashing checks, perfect for scaling a business." I stood in the hallway for about 30 seconds, letting that sink in, then I went back to the elevator. 2 weeks later, on September 28, 2023, everything shifted. I had a Q3 review scheduled with my CFO, Jennifer Park, and my head of operations. We decided to meet at a coffee shop a couple of blocks from my building so I could swing by afterward to deal with a maintenance issue. We met at 10:00 a.m. By 11:30, we'd gone through the numbers: $5, $1 million in quarterly revenue, margins improving, the team growing. "Want to see something interesting?" I asked Jennifer. "Always, come with me." We walked to my building and went in through the front entrance this time. I took us straight to the 4th floor. The receptionist recognized me from my earlier walkthrough. "Can I help you?" he asked. "I'm looking for Derek Chin," I said. "I'm his sister." "Oh, he mentioned you." "He's in conference room B." We walked past rows of employees hunched over campaigns, strategy decks, and design mock-ups. I knocked on the conference room door. Derek looked up. His face shifted from focus to irritation the moment he saw me. He came to the door and stepped out into the hall, pulling it mostly closed behind him. "What are you doing here?" he hissed. "I wanted to see your office. You've been inviting me for months." He glanced at Jennifer. "Who's this?" "Jennifer Park," she said. "My CFO." "Your CFO?" Derek snorted. "For what?" "Your freelance consulting." "Something like that," I said. He stepped fully into the hall and closed the door behind him. "Look, I'm in the middle of something important," he said. "This isn't a good time. I'll just take a quick look around." "Maya, no, this is a professional workspace. I can't have people just wandering the floor. We have client confidentiality, security protocols. This is my business. You can't just show up unannounced." Jennifer shifted beside me. She knew enough of the family dynamic to see what he was doing. "We'll go," I said. "Sorry to interrupt." "Yeah," Derek raked a hand through his hair. "Maybe call next time. I can schedule something. Give you a proper tour when we're not busy." We walked back to the elevator. In the lobby, Jennifer turned to me. "That was uncomfortable." "It's fine," I said. "Maya, that's your building." "I know. He just kicked you out of your own property." "I know. What are you going to do?" I thought about 3 years of rent checks. About overhearing him brag that he ran the place, about being treated like an intrusive nobody in a building I owned. "Nothing yet," I said. "I'm just watching." On October 12, 2023, Kenji called. "Ms. Chin, we have a situation." "What's going on?" "Apex Marketing Solutions has submitted a request for significant modifications to their space. They want to remove a load-bearing wall to create a more open office concept." "Did they submit proper modification forms?" "They did. But they also wrote that, since they're practically running the building, they assumed it would be approved automatically." I said nothing. "There's more," Kenji added. "Derek called me personally yesterday. He said any delay in approval was unacceptable and that he'd speak to the owners directly if I could handle this efficiently." "What did you tell him?" "That I'd forward the request to ownership. And it would be reviewed according to standard protocol." "Good." "Deny it, deny," he repeated. "Yes, the structural report says removing that wall would require extensive reinforcement, minimum cost $85,000. Under the lease, structural modifications of that scope are tenant-funded and require owner approval. We're not doing it. Deny the request." "Understood." "And Kenji," I added, "when you deliver the denial, make it clear it's from ownership. No explanation, no negotiation, just no." "I'll send it today." 2 hours later, Derek called me. "Maya, you're not going to believe this," he started. "The building owner is being completely unreasonable about a simple office modification." "That's frustrating," I said. "I'm thinking about breaking the lease, find a building where the owner actually understands business. Maybe I'll buy my own building." Show these corporate investment companies how real entrepreneurs operate. You should do what's best for your business, I said. I'm serious, I might move Apex to a different location. Somewhere I have more control, I understand. Anyway, I'm calling because Sunday dinner is at Mom and Dad's. They're doing a special celebration for my 5-year business anniversary. You should come, I'll be there, I said. Sunday, October 15, 2023, Mom's dining table was a shrine to Derek's achievements, a blown-up photo of his office. A framed Seattle Business Magazine article featuring Apex as a rising star in marketing. Derek held court, telling stories about demanding clients and triumphant campaigns. The thing about building a real business, he said, looking at me, is you can't be afraid of risk, you can't play it safe, you have to bet on yourself. Absolutely, Dad said. Maya, you've been consulting for 8 years now? About that, don't you ever want to build something bigger? He pressed. Hire people, scale up. I'm comfortable where I am, I said. That's the problem, Derek cut in. Comfortable, you know what comfortable gets you? Nowhere. He stood and pointed at the framed photo of his office. This office space, I fought for it. Negotiated hard, built something physical, something real, not just code on a computer, an actual business with actual people and an actual presence. It's very impressive, Mom said. Thanks. Honestly, I'm thinking about buying the building, Derek went on. The owner is difficult, doesn't understand the modern workplace. I've been talking to investors about putting together a purchase offer. I took a sip of wine. How much do you think the building is worth? I asked. Commercial real estate like that downtown Seattle, probably $12 million, maybe $13 million. I'm thinking I offer $11 million and negotiate. That's a lot of capital, I said. That's why I'm talking to investors, people who understand vision, people who aren't afraid to think big. He looked directly at me on that last sentence. You should probably research the building before you make an offer, I said quietly. I've been there 4 years, Maya. I think I know the building. Do you know who owns it? Some Chin Property Holdings, generic corporate entity. Mom frowned. Chin Property Holdings, she repeated slowly. It's a common name, Derek said. Probably some Chinese investment group. It's not an investment group, I said. He turned to me. How would you know? Because I'm Chin Property Holdings. The room went still. I've owned that building since 2019, I said. Derek laughed, waiting for the punchline. What? I bought it March 15, 2019 for $14.2 million. You moved in 6 months later. You've been paying me $8,400 a month in rent, then $11,600. Now $14,600 after your latest expansion. Dad's fork clattered against his plate. That's not funny, Maya, he said. I unlocked my phone, pulled up the signed lease and slid it across to Derek. He stared at the screen, the color drained from his face. This signature, he said, this is mine. Yes, you signed a 5-year lease in September 2019, 3-year renewal option. You exercised that option last year. The property manager, Kenji, Derek said slowly, he works for you. I hired him in 2019. The modification request I submitted, he said. You denied it. I did. Structural concerns, and you were rude to my property manager. Derek set my phone down. His hands trembled. For years, he said quietly, I've been telling people how I built my business, how I chose the perfect office, how I negotiated a great lease. You did negotiate a good lease, I said. Fair market rate, solid terms, I was happy to rent to you. Why didn't you tell me? He demanded. You never asked, I said. You called the owner some investment company that doesn't care as long as the check's clear. You said you basically run the place. I wanted to see how long you'd keep saying that while you wrote rent checks to my company. Mom stood up unsteady. Maya, is this true? She whispered. I opened my banking app and showed her the Chin Property Holdings account. Current balance $2.4 million, property management expenses, rent deposits, Derek's payments highlighted in the ledger. Oh my God, Mom said. Dad just stared. What else haven't you told us? He asked finally. I scrolled to my portfolio summary and turned the phone toward him. 6 commercial properties. Estimated value $67 million. I opened my consulting firm's website, 55 employees, client list including 3 major banks and 2 Fortune 500 companies. Then I showed him my personal banking summary, net worth $34 million. Dad blinked at the numbers. $34 million, he said quietly. Give or take, I said. How? He asked. I built something. I took risks, I scaled, I did everything Derek keeps telling me I should do, I just didn't announce it at Sunday dinner. Derek started pacing. This is insane, he said. You've been lying to us for 4 years. I haven't lied, I said. I just didn't volunteer information you never asked for. We're family, he snapped. You're supposed to share these things, like you shared how little you think of me, I asked. How you think I'm a failure, how my work doesn't matter. I never, you did, I said. Every dinner, every holiday. Every time you talked about real business and real success and real entrepreneurs, you made it clear exactly where you thought I stood. Mom sank back into her chair. Maya, we didn't know, she said weakly. You didn't know because you didn't ask, I said. You saw a Honda Civic in hourly consulting and a quiet life and you decided that meant failure. Dad swallowed. So what happens now? Derek asked. Nothing changes, I said. You have a lease. It's a good lease, you'll keep paying rent, your business keeps operating. I can't work in a building you own, Derek said. Not knowing you've been watching this whole time. Then break the lease, I said, but the penalty is 6 months rent, $87,600, plus you'll need new office space. Downtown rates are at least what you're paying now, probably more. You can't be serious. I'm always serious about business, you should know that by now. He looked at our parents. Say something, he pleaded. Dad was still staring at my phone. Mom's eyes were glassy. Maya, I don't understand why you hid this, Mom said. I didn't hide it, I said. I just lived my life without performing it for you. There's a difference. The next morning, October 16, 2023, I woke up at 6:30 a.m., made coffee, and started checking emails. At 7:15 a.m., Jennifer texted, Heard about last night, you okay, family drama, I'll live, I replied. At 8:00 a.m., Derek texted, We need to talk. This can't be how we leave things, I didn't respond. At 8:47 a.m., Kenji called. Ms. Chin, Derek Chin's company just submitted a lease termination request, he said. He wants to end the lease immediately. He's citing, Kenji paused. Irreconcilable conflict of interest with ownership. Remind him of the early termination terms, I said. I did, he said he doesn't care about the penalty. He wants out, process the termination, I said. 6 months rent due within 30 days, he has 60 days to vacate. Understood, Kenji said, there's one more thing. He requested we remove you from the property access list. He doesn't want you entering the 4th floor while his company is still there. I actually laughed. Tell him that as the property owner, I have the legal right to access every area of my building with 24 hours notice, I said, but also tell him I won't be visiting. He can have his 60 days in peace. I'll let him know. By 9:15 a.m., my phone was exploding. Derek, we need to talk. Mom, please call me. We need to discuss this as a family. Derek, answer your phone. Dad, this is getting out of hand. Derek, I'm serious. Pick up. Mom, your brother is very upset. Derek, fine, be that way. By noon, Derek had called 47 times. I turned my phone to silent and went for a run. I called him back at 12:30 p.m. Maya, finally, he said, we need to fix this. There's nothing to fix, I said. You submitted a lease termination. Kenji's processing it. You'll have the final terms in writing by end of day. I don't want to end the lease, Derek said. I want to talk. You told my property manager you wanted out due to an irreconcilable conflict of interest, I reminded him. I was angry. You blindsided me. I stated facts at a family dinner, I said. You're the one who made it about business. How am I supposed to run my company knowing my sister owns the building? He demanded. Knowing she's been watching me for 4 years, the same way you've been running it, I said. Nothing has changed except what you know. Everything has changed. I was quiet for a moment. Derek, do you remember what you said to me in March when you asked to use my apartment for 2 weeks? I asked. What? You said I wasn't doing anything important. That I was on my computer all day anyway, that it wouldn't make any difference if you were there. That's not, and at dinners, I continued, you said I was afraid to think big. That I was comfortable being small, that I'd never build anything that matters. I was trying to motivate you, he protested. You were trying to make yourself feel superior, I said. And the whole time you were paying me rent, building your success in a space I owned with money that went into my accounts. He said nothing. So yes, everything has changed, I said. But only because you now know something I've known all along, that your success story includes a chapter where your failed freelancer sister owned the building you're so proud of. That's not fair, he said. Business rarely is, I said. Lease termination papers will be delivered by 5:00 p.m. 6 months, rent due in 30 days, vacate in 60. Those were the terms you signed. I hung up. For the next week, I skipped family dinners. I didn't answer my parents' calls. I ignored Derek's increasingly frantic messages. Kenji kept me updated. Day 2, Derek requested a meeting to discuss options. Kenji told him all communication would follow the lease terms. Day 3, Derek's business partner called, asking if there was any flexibility on the termination penalty. Kenji said no. Day 4, Derek showed up in the management office demanding to speak to ownership. Kenji reminded him ownership doesn't meet directly with tenants. Day 5, Derek's attorney sent a letter claiming the penalty was excessive and possibly unenforceable. My attorney responded with case law and pointed out Derek had signed the lease with full knowledge of the terms. Day 7, Derek paid the $87,600 termination penalty. Kenji confirmed the funds cleared. On day 8, Mom called. "This has gone too far," she said. "Has it?" I asked. "He's your brother," she said. "He made a mistake. He's trying to apologize and you're punishing him. He's embarrassed. He's hurt. You humiliated him." I stated facts, I said. "If facts are humiliating, that's not my problem. You're being cruel," she said. I took a breath. "Mom, for 8 years you've treated me like I was failing," I said, "like I wasn't measuring up. Like I was just coasting, no ambition, no direction, and I let you. I didn't defend myself, I didn't justify my choices, I just kept building." "We didn't know," she repeated. "You didn't know because you didn't ask," I said. "You saw what you wanted to see. And now that you know the truth, instead of acknowledging you might have been wrong about me, you're upset that I didn't correct your assumptions sooner." "That's not what I'm saying," she muttered. "Then what are you saying?" Silence. "I'm saying your brother needs you," she said finally. "My brother needs to find a new office," I said. "He's got 52 days left." I hung up. 2 weeks after the dinner, Derek's business partner, Marcus Webb, called me. "Maya, it's Marcus, Derek's partner at Apex." "I know who you are," I said. "Can we talk off the record?" "About what happens next for our business?" "I'm listening," I said. "Derek's been difficult since the dinner," Marcus said. "He's angry, distracted, making bad decisions." "That's between you and Derek," I said. "The thing is," Marcus continued, "I've been doing some research on you, your firm, your portfolio. You're very successful." "Thank you," I said. "Why didn't you tell anyone?" he asked. "Not just Derek." "Anyone? Because the moment I told people, it would become the only thing we talked about," I said. "It would be something I'd have to defend. Everyone would have opinions. I preferred to build without the commentary." He paused. "That's smart," he said. "Here's our situation. Derek wants to move the company, find a new office. Start fresh somewhere that doesn't remind him of all this." "Okay," I said, "but moving is expensive," Marcus said. "New deposits, moving costs, build out. We're looking at $150,000 to $200,000 plus 3 months of chaos. And honestly, our current lease is excellent, below market, great location, the space works." "I'm aware," I said. "If we stay, Derek has to live with the fact that his sister owns the building," Marcus said. "That's hard on his ego." "That's between you and Derek," I repeated. "What if it wasn't his decision?" Marcus said. I paused. "What are you suggesting?" "I own 50% of Apex," Marcus said. "Derek can't move the company without my agreement. And I don't want to burn $200,000 when we have a perfectly good space. So don't move," I said. "I need Derek to accept that," Marcus said. "Which means I need to know, if we withdraw the termination and stay, will you be a professional landlord? No drama, no family stuff. Just business. I've always been a professional landlord," I said. "Your rent is fair, maintenance is prompt. I approved your expansion requests when they were financially sound. The only thing that's changed is that Derek now knows who owns the building." "That's what I thought," Marcus said. "I'll talk to him." "Good luck," I said. "One more thing," he added. "Your firm works with financial institutions, right?" "Yes, we've been looking for a consultant to rebuild our client database security." "Can I get a proposal? Email my business address," I said. "We'll set up a meeting." 3 days later, Derek called. "Marcus told me you talked," he said. "He called me," I said. "He wants to stay in the building," Derek said. "Withdraw the termination." "He's entitled to that opinion," I said. "He owns half your company. You put him up to this," Derek accused. "I didn't," I said. "He made a business decision." Silence. "If we stay," Derek said slowly, "I need to know you're not going to use this against me." "Use what?" I asked. "The fact that you own the building, that I pay you rent, that you've been in control this whole time." "Derek, I've never not been in control," I said. "The building is mine. The lease is between your company and my LLC. That's been the reality since 2019. The only thing that changed is your awareness." "It feels different," he muttered. "That's your issue to work through," I said. "Not mine. Can you at least understand why this is hard for me?" he asked. Yes, I said, you built your image around being more successful than me. The entrepreneur to my freelancer, the one who figured it out while I supposedly coasted. Now you know that the whole time I was doing more than fine. I was your landlord. Jesus, Maya. The penalty's already paid, I said. If you want to stay, Marcus needs to submit a written withdrawal of the termination within 48 hours. Otherwise, you're out in 50 days and the penalty stands. And you're okay with us staying? He asked. I'm a landlord, your tenants. As long as you pay rent and follow the lease, I don't care who you are, but I'm your brother, which is why you've had below-market rates, prompt maintenance, and reasonable expansion approvals, I said. Most landlords wouldn't have been that generous. I didn't know it was you, he said. Exactly, I replied. He exhaled. Fine, he said, we'll submit the withdrawal. But I need one thing. What? Sunday dinners, he said. We've skipped the last few. I need some time. Let me sit a few out. I need to adjust. Fine by me, I said. And Maya, yeah, I'm sorry, he said, for the things I said, for the assumptions I made, for treating your work like it didn't matter. Okay, I said. That's it, just okay, he asked. What do you want me to say? I asked. That it's fine, it's not fine. You spent years making me feel small. That doesn't disappear because you apologized once. But I accept your apology and I'm willing to move forward professionally. You're a good tenant, pay your rent, follow the lease, will be fine. What about as siblings? He asked quietly. That's going to take more than one conversation, I said. It's April 2024 now. Spring in Seattle, cherry blossoms, rain, and tech companies closing their Series B rounds. Derek's company is still on the 4th floor of my building. Rent on time, no incidents, no drama. Marcus hired my firm. We rebuilt their database security. Apex paid $180,000 for the project. Clean, professional, no family entanglements. In February 2024, I went back to Sunday dinner for the first time since everything blew up. It was awkward at first, like sitting down with colleagues after a bad offsite. Mom asked about my business, real questions, clients, growth, challenges. Not comparisons to Derek, not thinly veiled criticism, actual curiosity. Dad asked if I'd consider speaking to his investment club about commercial real estate. I declined, but I appreciated that he asked. Derek shared that Apex had landed a major contract with a regional healthcare system. He told the story without his usual theatrics, just numbers, milestones, plans. The 4th floor space is working well, he said, glancing at me. Good location. Fair terms, glad to hear it, I said. Later, as I was leaving, he walked me to my car in the parking garage. I've been thinking, he said, about the things I said over the years, about your work. Your choices, your success. Okay, I said. I was wrong, he said. Obviously, but it's more than that. I think I needed you to be less successful. It made me feel better about my own achievements. Like I was the only one who'd figured it out. That's honest, I said. I'm trying to be better, he said. More aware, less of an, it's a process, I said. Yeah, he hesitated. Your consulting firm, you're doing well, he said. Very well, I said. Good, he said, and he meant it. I'm proud of you, Maya. I should have said that years ago. Thanks, I said. And the building, he added, I know I made it weird, but it's actually reassuring, knowing the landlord cares about the property, the tenants. Most building owners don't give a damn. I'm invested in my properties, I said. Literally, he laughed. Right. Well, thanks for not being a terrible landlord. Thanks for not being a terrible tenant, I said. We stood there in the garage, brother and sister, landlord and tenant. Two people who'd spent years misreading each other, finally starting to see clearly. See you next Sunday, he asked. Maybe, if I'm not too busy with my freelance consulting, I said. He smiled. This time it was an actual joke, not a jab. Something like that, he said. I drove back to my Madison Park penthouse, 3 bedrooms, city views. A space I bought with money I earned building something that mattered. My phone buzzed, a text from Jennifer. Q1 numbers are in, $6.02 M revenue. Best quarter yet, I smiled. Another text from Kenji. Rent deposits cleared for all properties. Portland building has a new ground floor tenant, details tomorrow. I parked in my reserved spot, owner's parking, and went upstairs. Inside, I opened my laptop and checked emails. A potential client in San Francisco wanted a proposal for database security consulting. A commercial broker had sent listings for 2 buildings in Austin I might want to buy. I made notes, drafted replies, sketched out my week. My phone buzzed again. Mom, thank you for coming to dinner. It meant a lot to Dad and me. You're welcome. See you soon, I typed back. I closed my laptop, poured a glass of wine, and looked out at the Seattle skyline. For years, I'd built quietly. No announcements, no speeches, no social media highlight reel. And my family mistook my silence for failure, confused strategy with weakness, decided what my life meant without ever asking what I was actually doing. And I let them, not because I was afraid. Not because I was ashamed, because I wanted to see what would happen, how far the story they'd written for me would go, how they'd react when they finally saw the truth. The answer, they apologized. They adjusted, they started to see me as I am, not as they'd assumed. Was it worth the years of dismissal, the comments, the comparisons? Maybe, maybe not. But I learned something essential. Success doesn't require an audience. Achievement doesn't depend on validation from people who weren't paying attention in the first place. I built my business. I bought my properties, I created my wealth. I did all of it while my family thought I was just a freelancer in a one-bedroom apartment. The revelation didn't change what I'd built. It only changed what they knew about it, and honestly, that was enough. My phone buzzed one more time. Derek, I told Marcus we should offer you equity in Apex if you ever want to advise us. You know, since you clearly know what you're doing, I smiled and typed back, I'll think about it, but I'd need to see your financials first. Due diligence, of course, he replied. You're not a landlord, you're a businesswoman. I'm both, I wrote, and a sister, and a lot of other things you're still figuring out. Fair enough, he replied. See you at work tomorrow. I mean at my office in your building. This is still weird. You'll get used to it, I sent. I set my phone down, finished my wine, and looked back at my city. Somewhere downtown, in a building I owned, my brother was still absorbing the fact that his failed freelancer sister was, and had been for years, his landlord. His successful, strategic businesswoman sister, his equal, maybe in some ways his superior, but I didn't need him to say that. I didn't need the validation. The apology was nice, but it wasn't the victory. I'd already won. I won the moment I stopped needing them to see me clearly in order to see myself clearly. I won the moment I decided to build quietly, on my own terms, without waiting for permission or approval. I won the day I signed the papers on a $14.2 million building and became my brother's landlord without him ever knowing. The reveal was just the epilogue. The story was already writ. And I wrote every word of it.